Everyone, welcome back. Today I have another knitting podcast episode for you. Today is March 5th and it's a very warm and humid day here in New Jersey. The birds are outside chirping, as you might hear, and it's very quickly and drastically shifted to warmer weather here, which I'm a little bittersweet about because while of course I'm looking forward to the warm spring, I am sad to be putting away my wool sweaters so quickly. So really quick, if you are new here, my name is Dakota and here I chat about the projects that I'm knitting, some finished objects, and overall just my joy for the craft of knitting. Today I have 3 finished objects to share and 1 work in progress that I actually kind of need some advice on, so stay tuned for that. And let's get into it. So my first finished object is what I'm wearing. It's my finished zipper sweater. This is a pattern by Petite knit. It is something that I've been wanting to knit ever since I started knitting and exploring knitted sweaters. I love Petite knit's version of this. I love the color that she knitted it in. I just have always loved the sweater and have always wanted to knit it. So it is finally checked off my bucket list of things I've been wanting to knit and I'm very pleased with it. So I knit mine in the size small and I knit mine on 5.5mm needles, which is a half size up from what's recommended in the pattern. I knit mine with I believe Brown Sheep is the company, and it's a US company. I believe they're in Indiana or Arkansas, somewhere in the US, and it's the Nature Spun yarn, which is a worsted weight yarn, and I held it together with the Sadnes Garn Silk Alpaca, which is a lace weight yarn. So I got about an Aran weight gauge and it's in this beautiful, very cool tone brown, borderline purplish gray color. I don't own anything like this and it gives me like very naturey outdoor vibes. So perfect because I love being outside in nature. I like hiking, I go biking. So it's very suited for my outdoor adventures in the colder months. So right now I have the cuffs rolled up because it's very warm in here, but I'll show you the sleeve length and the whole sweater. So really quick, this sweater construction is pretty basic, but there are some new to me elements and just some more I would say like more advanced elements in it, I guess, if you've never done that before. So you start out with knitting the collar and it's knit with a smaller needle size. I forget exactly, but I think I used a 4mm needle. And you knit this flat panel of half twisted rib and then you fold it in on itself and sew it down, or I think just by binding off. You leave these little holes in the middle because that's where the zipper placket is going to lay in. So after that you will continue knitting flat and do short rows and start your raglan increases and just knitting flat until you're done pretty much with the yoke. It spans from the top of the sweater all the way down to the bottom of where the zipper would end, and then you join in the round and continue your raglan stitches and increases until you're ready to split for sleeve. And after that it's really smooth sailing from there. It's just stockinette in the round on the body and the sleeves, and then you finish the hem and the sleeve cuffs in this beautiful half twisted rib. It's quite long. I believe the pattern calls for, I want to say 6 inches of ribbing, and then 4 tubular bind off. So in the last podcast I had shared that I had knit the one sleeve too long and I was running out of yarn, and also I had knit the bottom hem in the wrong needle size. So it doesn't state specifically in the pattern, but if you are knitting this, be aware that when you're done knitting the stockinette in the round, you don't switch to a smaller needle size. You actually keep going in the needle size that you knit the body in, which I am not used to. Typically I always size down when I'm doing the ribbing, but it ended up creating this really cinched in look that I wasn't pleased with. I like the look of how Petite Knit does hers in the pattern. It's very flowy, it's very open. So I had ended up picking back my tubular bind off and undoing the ribbing and redoing it. Side note, I really enjoy ripping back tubular bind off. I don't know what it is, but I find it so satisfying, and I was like nervous to do it, but I'm glad that I did it because it's really not that bad for me. I can see how with maybe mohair it would be more frustrating, but I actually really enjoyed it, so I don't know. I'm less scared now to rip back my mistakes. And then really where it got complicated for me was the zipper panel. So really quick, on the inside of the zipper, I'm not wearing anything under this, so on the inside of the zipper you are knitting this panel flat and sewing it down, and that's what the zipper lies in, and then eventually you sew down the zipper. I personally found knitting and sewing down the zipper placket to be kind of tedious and hard. I think there are video instructions online and resources online, but still I was struggling a little bit. Not only that, but it's knit flat and stockinette, so it curls in, and it was just really difficult to get an even sewn bind off, I guess, if that makes sense. So yeah, I am a little not disappointed, but I just think it could have turned out cleaner. Maybe if I ever knit this again for someone, I will try to figure out a better way to do it, but at that point I was just so ready to get it done, and really I don't think that it's bad at all. So I think it turned out fine. And then actually sewing in the zipper, so I sewed mine in with just needle and thread, and it's a little sloppy on the inside. I actually had to rip it out the first time I did it because I had knit mine too close to my yarn, and every time I would zip it, it would get stuck. So I had to rip it out, and I redid it, and it's fine now, but it's a little bit sloppy still. It was hard because I didn't want the zipper placket to show, but I also didn't want the zipper to eat up my yarn if I was trying to zip up. So I think I found a happy medium, and I really like how this turned out. I like it all the way zipped up. I like it with a shirt underneath and it zipped down. I had blocked this for probably about 30 minutes and let it air dry on my rack. I didn't actually like lay it down to block, but the fabric still bloomed beautifully. And then I actually had put this on the ironing board and put a towel over it and steamed blocked it with the towel over it, and that really made a huge difference with the fabric. It blocked out nicely, but having that finished touch of the steam block really softened out the fabric. I really enjoy wearing this just with a pair of jeans. I actually wore this out biking the other week and I was very warm. This wool and alpaca blend is wonderful. It's so nice and warm. I'm wearing it next to skin now and it's tolerable. It's a little bit prickly, but nothing that is hard to handle, even around my neck. And I think the wool is just a nice wool. The alpaca, and I'll get into this in another project, I think alpaca, me and alpaca don't do well, and it makes me sad because I love alpaca. It's so soft to touch, but anytime it gets around my body, like my neck or shoulders, it's just so itchy. So yeah, I think the alpaca lace is a nice medium. It's not overpowering the garment, and it adds a lot of warmth and added drape to this. So yeah, overall, I love my zipper sweater. I'm so happy to have it, and I highly recommend this pattern if you are interested in having just a nice layering piece to put over pretty much anything. I highly recommend this pattern. So that's all for my zipper sweater. It was definitely the most exciting finished garment that I had. And now let me talk about my finished sock. So I finished my Fletching socks. Here they are held together. I've been meaning to get a pair of like sock blockers, but I just can't find ones that I like and that are small enough. But here they are, they're finished. I was almost done with these in the last podcast episode. I think all I had to do was the toe and I would be done. And I really wanted to bring them on the retreat I was going on with the church, with the kids in the youth ministry. And I did get to bring them, but I actually didn't wear them at all. I was wearing a different pair of merino wool socks and I just stayed in those all weekend. So these did come with me, but I did not end up wearing them. I have some mixed feelings about these. They turned out too big. Well, half of them turned out too big. So the cuff and the leg fit totally fine. They fit perfect actually. I knit mine in the adult medium on the recommended needle size, which is 2.75 millimeters, and it's knit with a sport weight yarn. So yeah, the colorwork section fits great, as expected, of course, because the colorwork cinches everything in. It's a little bit more tight of a fabric. And then I opted to do a German short row heel instead of the heel flap and gusset, and just a plain stockinette foot and toe, and I should have sized down in needle size when doing my heel and foot. Just the heel and foot are way too big on me. I can't really comfortably wear these in a pair of shoes without them completely bunching up and being uncomfortable for me. But I can comfortably wear them around the house, just if my feet are cold, and I get good wear out of them that way. But I do wish that these just were tighter. I don't know if I would have knit the size small because, again, like the colorwork section fits perfectly on my ankle and my leg, but I think it would have been a good idea to just size down a needle size for the heel and foot. So if you are going to knit this, be mindful of that. Yeah, I do have, I mean, this side, it looks so beautiful. I love this color work, and I think too, if I would have knit the color work in a brown, like a dark brown, that would be really pretty too. So maybe I will knit these again, and just my sizing would be different, the needles would be different, but I really do love them. I do have some like color jogging, I think it's called, on this side, but it's whatever. It doesn't bother me. Yeah, I do love these socks and how they turned out. I just wish that they fit a little bit better, but overall I do recommend the pattern. I think the color work is very easy. It's great if you just want to try color work, and it is knit on some thicker yarn, so it goes by quickly, and yeah, it's just very simple. So I do recommend it if you want to get into color work. This definitely makes me want to try some more color work patterns. My last finished object is a shawl, actually, that I haven't talked about in a while, since the fall time. But really quick, let me put on a t-shirt because I'm sweating. Alright, so my next finished object is a shawl, and I don't have the ends woven in, so don't come for me. But it is finished, I just haven't woven in all of my ends. But this is my finished Boneyard shawl. I also don't have it blocked yet, so I do expect this to grow, but it is already huge. So this is my Boneyard shawl. It's a pattern by Stephen West. It is a free pattern, and it also has a free YouTube video tutorial with it. I had casted this on, I think, last fall. So actually, Last summer I had taken a trip to Buffalo, New York to see my mom, and I stopped by a lovely yarn store and bought actually the yarn for my zipper sweater, and I bought this yarn. This is knit with Alpaca. It's the Alpaca yarn company in their Alpaca Tweed, and it's in the color LeKnit, which is this beautiful deep teal green color with bits of tweed in it of all different colors of black, white, and tan, and I love it. I think from far away it's kind of hard to see the pattern of the Boneyard shawl with all the tweed, but up close you can really see it. So what drew me to this shawl is just the basicness of this pattern, but it has this interesting element to it too. It's very easy to knit, so you cast on with just a few stitches at the base, and then it quickly grows with make one right and make one left, and every X amount of rows on the wrong side you're doing a knit stitch, so it ends up creating this really pretty garter stitch line through it. And then once you're done, you bind off with this really pretty garter stitch border, and it's lined with a garter stitch edge. I love this thing. I don't own any shawls. I'm not a shawl knitter, although this has kind of made me want to be, but I don't really know how to wear it. This is like the best way I can think to wear it, is just wrapped up in it. But yeah, or like a scarf, I guess. I have to play around with it, but yeah, I really do like this. The only thing is it's knit with alpaca, and now I know I cannot tolerate alpaca by my neck, so this may just have to be something that I just wear around my shoulders in the office where I work, at home when it's cold. I don't know, but maybe blocking will take away some of the itchiness. But I have another scarf I've knit with alpaca, and I guess I didn't learn my lesson then. I just thought it was that specific alpaca that really bothered my skin, but it's definitely just alpaca in general. So yeah, this is my Boneyard shawl. I would recommend this pattern. I think it's great. You can do so much with it, so many unique combinations, and it's a really nice size. It's not too big and it's not too small. I think it's just a very nice in between. And I need to get this blocked and my ends woven in, because I would love to take this to work with me and just wrap myself up, because it gets pretty cold in the office. So that's all I have to say about my Boneyard shawl. Okay, so now for my one work in progress that I have that I think I need some help with. So this is my Cara Sweater by LeKnit. Last time you saw this, I was not even able to put it on a hanger. It was just a hot mess. And now I finally have a collar on it and it looks like something. I will say I have a mistake right in the front on one of the cables that is no big deal. I can just rip back in this little cable section and fix it, but I did end up making a mistake. And I think I actually made a mistake on the other side too, and I had to go back and fix it. I have a lot of mixed feelings about this. So first of all, I love the color. This color yarn is so beautiful, and thank you to the person in my last video that said that this matches my eyes. I appreciate it. I think that's very sweet, and yeah, it's a beautiful yarn. So it's a beautiful color. So my mixed feelings about it is, so first of all, I love knitting this. Like, I am addicted to the cable pattern. I love seeing the yarn come to life in this sweater. It's just beautiful. Everything about it I love. But there was a section while I was knitting the honeycomb in the front where I was not using a cable needle, And I just felt like, okay, I'm used to this now, like I have some more confidence. I think I can knit it without a cable needle. And the stitch pattern isn't wrong, but as you can see, the honeycomb just gets lost. And I think it's because the stitches just weren't at the right gauge. Like up here, the honeycomb is really pretty and neat, and then it just gets really sloppy in here. And then again, once I realized, I was like, I don't really like the tension of this, I went back to using my cable needle, and then it straightened back out again. So I don't know if blocking would help that or if not. And if not, I would really just prefer to rip it out, because this is right in the front and center. And again, like I didn't do it wrong, it's just the tension is not it, and I'm not pleased with it. So I could block it and see how that turns out. I could try to just rip back the honeycomb section and redo that. I've never done anything like that before, so I'm a little nervous. So yeah, what would you do in that situation? Would you just rip it back? Would you try to block it? It looks, I think, worse on camera than it does in real life. But yeah, I'm just not happy with that at all. So yeah, that's one thing. Fixing this cable over here is no big deal. I've done it before where I just rip back the section and fix it that way. And then the other thing is I am a little worried that the yoke is too big. So let me put this on real quick. So this is where I am with the yoke. And so my armpit is here. This is not mathematical at all, but and so far, like, I really like the yoke depth, but I'm not even done with the yoke yet. Like, I still have quite a few more inches to go, so I'm just a little worried that it's too big. I knit mine on the recommended needle size and my gauge was fine. My row gauge was a little bit off, so maybe that's what's happening. So yeah, I don't know if it's looking too big, so I don't know. One thing I was thinking is if the yoke is too deep, maybe I could just eliminate some of the rows, but that would end up eliminating a cable pattern in the body, and then a lot of like rice stitches that line the side of the sweater. So I don't know, like right now I'm pleased with the yoke depth, especially after blocking. It's just gonna grow even more, so I don't know. I could just rip it out and knit it on a smaller needle size, and you know, maybe my tension has just changed throughout the sweater. Again, like in here it definitely had changed to a looser gauge, so I don't know. What would you do in this situation? I would be really sad to rip it out because this has taken a long time, a lot of effort, and I really love this, but I also am wanting to be intentional, and if I finish it, I'm not going to wear it because I'm displeased with the fit and just like certain mistakes in it. I'm never gonna wear it, and that would also not be good. So I'd rather just take the time now. It's not like I'm going to be knitting or wearing this in the summer anyway, so I could just make this like a summer, like a long process knit. I don't want to give up on this pattern because it's really beautiful. I think it works very well with this yarn, and yeah, just what would you do? Would you block it and see what happens? Would you just rip out this section and try to redo the honeycomb? Would you rip the whole thing out? Would you eliminate some of like a cable repeat to shorten the yoke depth? Let me know what you would do, or if it's just more worth it to rip it all out. If I do rip it out, I wonder if there's a way that I could just keep the neckline. I like this neckband, but the pattern is knit where you just cast on for the neck edge. You don't actually start with the neckband. So if there's any way that I could keep the neckband, that would be nice too. Just let me know your thoughts. If you are a more advanced knitter than I am, you probably know. So yeah, any advice is very welcome. But yeah, I am obsessed with this yarn. It's so beautiful. Let me show you. This is the Isager Jensen yarn in the color 96. It's just this beautiful brownish, reddish, coppery color. And I love this color so much. It's like my favorite yarn that I've ever knit with, I think. I think too, what would be cool if I re-knit this is there's some elements of it that I think I would change. Like in the raglan stitches, you have this 7-stitch repeat, and right in the middle is a knit stitch. I honestly think that I would do like a twisted knit stitch and just make it even more pronounced. So I don't know, maybe I will rip it out, as much as that breaks my heart. I think I just need to kind of take a break and let that sink in for a minute, so it's not so like dramatic and overwhelming to me. This is all that I have left for this podcast episode. I really appreciate you watching. If you would like to keep up with any of my projects that I'm knitting, please subscribe and like the video if you enjoyed it. So until next time, thank you again and happy knitting.